This is the Slothology Torchiere. It's a upward shooting light. Claims to be 3200 lumens, has a smart remote control and dual touch controls. Also adjustable shade. I was sent this to review for free. If you wanted to purchase it, it would cost you $60. They haven't paid me for my review, and my opinion remains my own. So in the cardboard, we have a piece of styrofoam here, and it is taped on with the cardboard on the top and the cardboard on the bottom. Looks like this side has the main screw together body of the lamp. And I suspect in here there is a glass shade or lamp top. Not glass, just plastic. There's a lot of styrofoam in here. There's also a remote control, and it looks like the bottom is a heavy base. Alright, so that's a pretty heavy duty base. Now, there is a little instruction sheet in with the remote control. So the remote control has a magnetic mount point on the back, and it comes with a 2-pack of AAA batteries for it. Alright, we have a single-page instruction manual which basically says screw all these things together. And it also says there's a little thing on the top here that should be thrown out. So it says there's some type of a plastic protective knob. I think it might be this thing here that says throw that in the trash. Alright, so this is the lamp. The top can adjust down 90 degrees, and you can rotate the entire lamp, or you can move the top around just by itself a little bit. Now it has a ring of lights in here, and by tapping this you can change the color temperature through kind of cool, off, warm, and kind of mid-range. The dual touch control basically means if you tap it, it cycles through the 3 different color temperatures and then off. And if you press and hold, it will slowly dim down to its lowest setting. So that's kind of the lowest setting, and then you can turn it off. And it stays at whatever brightness setting you had it on. And so then if you wanted it to go up, you could press and hold and it will go up. And that's the brightest setting there. So it's relatively stable in that the base is heavy, and so you can hit it and it'll kind of bounce around a bit. It's a little unstable in the fact that it wiggles and pendulums for a while. So if you touch it a little bit, it's going to be wiggling for a while before it stops moving around. I've put batteries in the remote control. There is an off switch. If you push the off switch, it'll turn off, it'll turn on. When it's on, if you push the center switch, it'll go to kind of full brightness, which it already was. You can push this button here and hold it, and it will dim down. If you tap the buttons, it'll do steps. And if you hit like this guy here, you can make it warmer. If you go this guy here, you can make it cooler. And then they have a couple of preset settings. So there's kind of nighttime mode, which is kind of a dim warm. There's feeding the baby mode, which is a little bit brighter. There's working on a computer mode. There's drinking coffee mode, and there's reading mode. So they just kind of have some preset mode buttons you can push. And they have the 1 hour timer. You push that, it flashes, and apparently in 1 hour it'll turn off. So you can put the remote on a desk, or it'll magnetically attach just to the lamp itself, because the lamp is made out of iron, and there's a magnet in here that holds on pretty well. So the remote control has plenty of range. Basically anywhere in the room it's going to work for you. Now this power supply is only 120 volts, which will match your standard US outlet. It is a 30 watt power supply. So the lamp remembers its state. If it's turned on and it loses power, when you regain power, it'll go back to where it was. However, if you have it like at a dim mode, loses power, plug it back in, it'll come back to the dim mode. And if it's off, then when you unplug it and plug it back in, it'll stay off. So it won't be waking you up in the middle of the night when your power cycles. Alright, so just plugged in, there's a very small vampiric power draw. It's moving between 1/3 of a watt and 0 watts. So it's not a lot of power, but it does take a little bit of power for the lamp to just sit there waiting for control from the remote. Now, when you turn the light on, this is full brightness, and it is drawing basically 26 point some watts. So we're going to say it's, a 25 watt or 26 watt light at full power. Now at the dim setting, it drops way down, and it's doing about 4 watts at the dim setting. Alright, from an illuminating the room perspective, we're in the daytime with some light coming in from a window. When I turn this light on, you can see, it definitely is adding light to the room, lighting up that corner, bouncing it around. So aesthetically, it's black. It's your pretty standard kind of disc-shaped top, upward-facing Torchiere floor lamp.